Today I've got another Hiya G.I. Joe 4-inch action figure for you. It is Major Bludd, and I've been excitedly waiting for this figure. It's kind of hard to see him through the bubbles. There's so much plastic and stuff going on. My light's reflecting all over the place. It's hard to see. Flip it around, you can briefly see the back because there's nothing going on back there. Really nothing. And for these Hiya G.I. Joe figures, the main, if you're interested in packaged stuff, then it's all on the front. That's all we really care about. But I care about this figure. I want to get him off the card. I keep saying out of the box, but off the card. Let's get him open. Here's Major Bludd off the card, and I discovered why he was very difficult to look at through the packaging, why it was so reflective. He had an extra piece of plastic that was on top of him in the accessories. I don't know if this is something new going forward, but it was just sitting there, and so, yeah, there's like lots of reflectiveness happening because of this little extra piece of plastic. So anyway, he's got a bunch of accessories, and these kind of match his classified version. We'll jump in and take a look at the first one, which is this huge, cool-looking gun, and it looks so very different than classified because of the painting. Then we have his rocket gun, which I think it's a rocket gun. I've never been really clear on exactly what his weapon is. His backpack and two rockets that, yes, are removable if you want them to be. You can tuck them right back in there. And then he comes with a set of trigger hands. This one is the more robotic right-handed one, and this is the more human gloved left-handed one. He also comes with a battlefield figure stand and a couple of these I-beams that can hook onto the figure stand and then hook onto others, so if you want to build out a whole little cool base for all your figures to stand on, you can do that. And he comes with a couple of secret accessories, or what I like to call secret accessories. That is his dog tag chain around his neck, and his helmet will come off as well. And actually, I think that's all that is there, just those two items. So here is Major Bludd a little bit closer so you can see. I have got to say, I've got to admit, my opinion is this guy looks a little bit cartoony compared to the other figures Hiya has released. It's the paint job on the face. It's almost a little bit too brilliant, bright, painted looking, and it looks a little bit cartoony. It's almost just a little bit too much for me, but it might not be for you. But what I want to do real quick is a really cool thing. So back in 2018, the G.I. Joe Collectors Club had their final convention, and Major Bludd from Python Patrol was part of that set, the convention exclusive. Well, they screwed up and they didn't paint like part of the head. I'm trying to hold something here. They didn't paint part of the head, and so they ended up sending a replacement head that looked just like this, and you have a mustache and so forth. This is a pretty nice looking head, I think. So I was really curious, would this head fit on this figure? So real quick, I'm going to pop this head off, since the Hiya figure's heads seem to pop off pretty easy. There you go. And I'll just take off the dog tags for the moment. And so look at that. It's just a little, the hole in the head is just a little bit too big. Maybe if you put something, bulk this up, maybe found a different kind of a barbell, this is what that head would look like on this figure. Now, okay, I'm not saying I completely dislike the Hiya figure or how it looks or the head or whatever, but come on, this is really cool looking. You gotta say that this is a really nice looking Major Bludd now, right? And this is the classified body with more of a classic style looking head. He's got the fabric, let's call it the fabric eye patch, versus the more mechanical I-beam piece that's like bolted or something over his left eye. I'm not quite sure what that is. It's what the classified kind of had. But this is a really cool looking Major Bludd. Now, this helmet, the head's too big for the one that came from the Hiya figure, as you can see, but got the Major Bludd helmet from that set, which it does look a little different. Just kind of, I don't know if it's even straight, but that's what he could look like. Wow, that's actually really bad looking. Let me get this head and the helmet on more straight. There we go. So the black is just a little bit different than the blacks on the figure, and it's a gold Cobra sigil. And it's up to you to decide, do you think that looks good or find a different hat, different helmet. But the head, I think, looks really cool. What do you think? Throw your thoughts in the comments below. What do you think about this head on the Hiya figure? All right, enough about that. I'm going to pop, let's go ahead and put the dog tags back on. If I remember right from his old bio, he collects the dog tags of the people that he has, let's just say, gotten rid of, if I remember correctly, and he wears their dog tags. So he's definitely a cold-blooded mercenary. So this is I like the brown on this figure. The browns are really cool. I like this mechanical arm. He has a little bit of a hindrance because of the shoulder pad. The shoulder pad, if you can see, goes back and forth like so. And he has full range. He's got these little butterfly pieces in there, so his arm moves around a little bit. He's got double pinless elbows and works really well. Let's see about the left side. Yeah, the double pinless elbows, just, they're so awesome. They work so well. He's got the torso rotation, and we lost his helmet. Lost that helmet. Let's scoot some of these accessories over. He's got this torso rotation and a hinge, not a hinge, but a waist rotation as well. He's got thigh rotations. These are a little bit tighter, and the upper leg ball joint rotation as well. I think this right leg wants to pop off. There's some drop down hips going on, double pinless knees, but the problem is that's only about as far back as he can bend. Because of how the figure is designed, ow, pinched me. The way it's designed in the back of the knee here, it can't go up. It doesn't pinch very well. I mean, it pinches you if you put your finger in there like I just did. If you want him to, he has hinge and pivot on the ankles. He can go back that far, and he can go forward that far, about roughly. And the pivot works really well. So yeah, it's a nice figure. I like the figure. I do like this figure overall. I really like the design. I like the look. I think it's really awesome. Still trying to decide if I like this head or not. So let's do a quick comparison with the classified figure. Here are the figures side by side, and I don't know if you can immediately tell some of the differences or not. I can easily tell some of the differences, probably because I'm right here in front of him. The Hiya figure has a bit of a lighter brown to the brown spots, whereas the classified is darker brown on the waist, on the legs, on this left arm over here. And the Hiya figure has more of like a brushed steel grayish, gunmetal gray, whatever, for the vest area, as well as some red painted details in these little indented areas, whereas classified is just mostly all black with no real paint detail for anything. We're seeing better pieces of design on this little guy than we are on the big guy. So his mechanical arm on the Hiya figure is all that silverish color as well, whereas classified is just all black. And I really like how it's more silver metallic looking. Flipping around to the back, I don't think there's really anything else that's different. It's all the browns and that silver. He does still have, we'll take this off, he's got more texture for his mohawk on the classified figure than he does on the little guy. Little guy doesn't have quite as much detail. The face definitely does not have as much detail. Let's see if I can bring the faces in much closer so we can see the difference in the detail. I mean, classified is insane for, you know, how much detail is on that face, whereas there's the Hiya figure. And maybe that's the problem. Maybe they're trying to replicate that detail, and by doing that, it's making it look more cartoony by, like, for example, like the scars have this red paint. Looks like a reddish paint on there. Whereas the classified isn't really a reddish paint. It's kind of like a brownish, dark red. It's more of a natural color, and I think that might be the difference. Maybe if they toned down some of the bright colors for the Hiya figure, then it would look a lot better. But I don't think this is a I don't think this is a terribly bad representation of the classified figure in 4-inch, not 4-inch scale, but 1/18 scale. That's not what it is. Let's put the robotic hand. Oh, no, we're not going to be doing that. That hole is way too small for that peg, so I'm going to have to be warming that one up. Here, let's see. You can see, like right there, do you see the The size difference there, that's pretty big. That's monumental. So we'll get this hand put back on, because I really wanted to put this gun in his hand, so we'll just do it that way without a trigger finger. And see what he looks like, because I like this gun a lot. There we go. Now let's get it out of being blurry here. But yeah, I like that a lot. Let's grab his backpack over here. There we go. Now we got his backpack on with his rockets. I do like Major Bludd, don't get me wrong. The face is a little wonky, I think, personally. But this is a pretty cool figure. I like the design. I like the look. I like it. I like it overall. I will deal with this, but I might see... Well, I had the head there. I might see if I can figure out how to pack in something into that hole so that when I put the head on here, it will stay much better. It's luckily, he doesn't really have skin anywhere else except for the neck, so maybe the head will hide that. I know I said I wasn't going to talk about that. But, yeah, I like this figure. What do you think about this figure? And I'm not going to show you all the other Hiya figures because there's just getting to be way too many G.I. Joe Hiya figures to show them in one area. Hang on, and by the end of the year, either late December, early January, depends, probably actually early January, I'll be doing a complete Hiya G.I. Joe checklist video, and then we'll show them all off and you can see them all there. But until then, thanks for stopping by and watching and checking this guy out. I'll see you in the next one.